Hi Taurus, and welcome to your July 2019 Astrology 33 reading. We have a Celtic cross spread in front of us, which is normally a 10 card spread, but you guys got some extra cards that came out there. And we also have a couple of Oracle cards we'll go through after the main spread to help tie everything together. And we also have a mudra card to look at. Also, before I forget, for those of you who are interested in booking a personal reading with me, donating to the channel, or following me on Instagram, check out the description of the video for more info on all of that. Alright, but let's get into the main spread now. Starting with the main situation, where you guys got a couple of cards. You got the Two of Swords and the Nine of Pentacles. So, the main thing that I'm seeing with these two cards, primarily, well, first we'll talk about the Two of Swords. This is actually a Libra card, so that's a fellow Venus-ruled sign like yours. There's nothing really going on in the sign of Libra right now, but what I would see this as primarily is, you're trying to make a decision, and most likely you're attempting to base it strictly on logic. The reason I say that, if we look at this person, they have their back turned to the water in the background and also to the moon. Both of those things can symbolize emotions. And, obviously they have the blindfold, so to me it's almost like I don't want to see anything, I don't want to hear anything, I just want to think and know, the decision I'm making is what's best on a logical level. And then with the Nine of Pentacles, this is usually a card, well, it's a Virgo energy for one, so given that we have a Libra and Virgo energy here, you could definitely be dealing with either of those signs, or maybe even someone who has both placements. For example, someone with the Virgo Sun can commonly have a Libra Venus or a Libra Mercury, or vice versa. So if it's not an actual person, though, this could just be talking about you reevaluating your status in a relationship level. This is often seen as a single woman card. So this could be you trying to decide, do you want to stay single or do you want to enter into a relationship? That could really be what you're trying to figure out. And, it wouldn't surprise me, you guys, have Uranus in your sign, and then actually Mercury is going to go retrograde this month, but right before it does, it's going to make a square aspect with Uranus in your sign too. So that could really be what's causing that thought process to pop up for you guys too. In the challenger obstacle position, we have the Five of Wands. This usually represents competition. Can be a bit petty. It's usually not as bad as the Five of Swords, although they are somewhat similar energies. And this actually represents the first 10 degrees of Leo, too. So I was just talking about that Mercury square you guys are going to experience with Uranus in your sign. That's actually going to be with Mercury in those first 10 degrees of Leo. So that could be pointing to a timeline, which would say that, that's at the end of the first week of the month. So that could point to a timeline as far as, when this thought process pops up for you. And then let's not forget, at the end of the month, basically, the sun will also be in those 10 degrees of Leo as well. So definitely could be pointing to a timeline, but it could just represent an energy too, which could say, maybe you have a lot of options, and maybe that's why you're really trying to evaluate, okay, maybe it's not so much, maybe you are sure you want to enter into a relationship, but you could just have a lot of options to choose from. So you're like, you know what, let me just get in my mind and try to really make a logical decision about who would be the best option to choose from, right? And, for others of you, it could be deciding that you're tired of this race, right? Like, let's say you're someone who's been more of the aggressor with trying to get into a relationship with someone, and you might be reevaluating, is it worth the trouble or not, right? Like, you might be like, all right, this person might be a player, they have all these people after them, should I even bother, right? So that could be how it's playing out for some others of you. In the foundation position, we have the Ace of Swords, the Page of Cups, and the Ace of Wands. So these are all similar energies in a way, because what I always say with the Ace energies, to me, they're more something that's in the idea stage. It's, something that's you're not necessarily taking action on it just yet, but you do have it in your mind. And then the page energies are similar to the ace energies to me, but they're more representing actually taking the action. So taking it from the idea phase and actually making a move of some kind. So if we look at those, the Ace of Swords could just be coming to a realization and maybe wanting to communicate whatever this realization is, but not being quite ready yet. Now, the Page of Cups could represent making a love offer. What I always say with the Page energies, they're that 1 foot in, 1 foot out energy. You could almost see that in their stance. And then if we look at this card in particular, up close, if I could get it to focus, we see there's actually a fish in that cup. So to me, that represents, it could be a rushed offer or just a bit clumsy at the very least. It is in the upright, so it's not necessarily, a suspicious offer, but it could just be that either you or the person making the offer to you just might come off a bit clunky making it. And then the Ace of Wands energy is just, an idea to take an action in some way, shape, or form. Since it does represent a phallic symbol, it's often tied to a sexual advance, but it doesn't always have to be that. And it could just be if you're deciding between those three elements, right? It could just be saying that the cups element is the winner, basically. You're like, okay, I could just express it to them through words, right? I could take action, but then you could just be deciding, all right, let me just appeal to them on an emotional level, right? Like out of those options, you might decide maybe that's the best way to approach this person. Or if it's someone coming towards you, that could be their decision. But like I said, keep in mind, whether it's you making the offer or them making the offer, it might come off a bit clumsy, but it will be well intentioned either way. And to be fair, for some of you though, I do have to at least put it out there. This could just be you coming to a realization that someone who made a love offer to you, maybe they tried to make it appear like it genuinely was about love, but then maybe you realize after the fact that really all they were after was sex. I do have to at least put that out there that for some of you, that could be the way that it's playing out. All right, in the past position, we have the Five of Pentacles. So this is an energy, the artwork certainly supports it, but you might often hear this referred to as the card of being left out in the cold. This actually is a card of Taurus too, the first 10 degrees of Taurus. So if your placement is in those first 10 degrees, you definitely could have been feeling this energy a bit more in the past. And also there is the fact that Uranus is in those degrees of Taurus right now as well. So it could have even gone back to when it first arrived there. I mean, it was there for a little while last year, so it could even go back that far, but I'm thinking primarily for most of you, it might be earlier this year when Uranus went into your sign. And, this could have just maybe led to a sudden breakup, right? Maybe could also be financial difficulties and even up to, depression. I mean, yes, we do see these people look like they're physically in a bad way, so there could have been physical injury as well, but usually I think of this more as like a emotional fog and some kind of depression that you guys might have been going through in the past. In the present position, we have the Ace of Pentacles. So again, this is 3 aces now that you guys have in the spread, and like I said, the page energy is similar to an ace to me too. So really, even having the Page of Cups, that's the only thing you're missing is the Ace of Cups, but even the Page of Cups is similar energy to that. So there's a lot of energy of newness on the table for you guys. You could just be making a lot of changes this month. There is going to be a new moon eclipse in your third house early on in July too. So that's your house of communication. So that could certainly be where all of these new starts are coming from. Then factor that in with the fact that Mercury will actually go retrograde. This also could bring about things that you might have thought about in the past, right? Again, with all these ace energies. And now this month, you might actually see ways to move forward with those plans. But, tying this into the spread as a whole, the fact that we do have the Nine of Pentacles in the main position with that Two of Swords, this could just be saying that you come to a realization of what it will take for you to get to that Ten of Pentacles, right? If you're in that Nine of Pentacles energy now, maybe you come to a realization in the present of, okay, this is what I need to do if I want to get to that Ten of Pentacles, take that next step forward, basically. And it could also represent someone making an offer to you, or at least thinking about doing so, since it is that ace energy that would bring you up to that ten of Pentacles level. And maybe that's what that Two of Swords is about. Maybe someone's making you a relationship offer and you're trying to decide, weighing the cost and benefit. Like, okay, do I want to give up my single status and move forward, or should I just keep doing my thing? In a near future position, we have the Empress, which is often seen as a card for your sign with that Venusian influence there, and the Eight of Cups. So to me, again, it's funny, the Two of Swords is in the main situation, and I keep seeing a duality in your thought process. So it could just be that one of you, some of you are on one path, some of you are on the other. But I definitely see duality without a doubt. And what I mean by that here is, in this case, for me, some of you, this could represent you deciding that, you know what, I'm going to get back into my Empress energy of knowing my worth and letting things come to me, that receptivity, and walking away from a potential relationship that maybe you realized wasn't going to get you exactly to where you want to go, right? Like I said, if maybe you realized this was someone who was just after sex and you wanted something more stable, or just realizing that you've gone as far as you can with the connection with that Nine of Pentacles, right? Realizing that you're not going to get to that Ten of Pentacles stage with that person. So for some of you, this could just represent you walking away. And then for others of you, this could just be saying, you know what, because this is an energy that you guys can be prone to as Taurus, your fixed energy, and you have that Venus influence, you do a lot of times tend to let things come to you more often. So for some of you, this could represent the flip side of that energy, which is to say that you're saying you're coming out of this Empress energy and actually deciding you're going to take the action and go for what you want, right? If we look at that energy, the person's walking away from all those cups. Like, okay, yeah, I've been fulfilled up to this point, but I'm looking for something more. So walking away and pursuing it on your own, basically. All right, in the position of your influence on the situation, we have the Ten of Swords. So this to me certainly does point to that theme that I mentioned initially with these two cards, which was to say that some of you would definitely be walking away from a relationship because you realized that it wasn't fulfilling. Like I said, maybe you realized that really the person was just after one thing and it wasn't going to give you that stability that you're looking for in the long term, and deciding that, you know what, I might as well just walk away from that now. But this could also be an end to the thought process too. So that Two of Swords energy, and then I do have to point out in the hopes or fears, we have the Nine of Swords too. This could just be you finally getting out of that thought process stage and actually taking action. So that's the other way that this energy could play out. Which is to say, okay, you've been stuck in your thoughts with that Two of Swords energy for a long time, really deliberating, okay, which way do I want to go? And now this month you're finally making that move. Like I said, with that new moon in your third house of communication and it being an eclipse at that could definitely bring that out of you. So maybe that's what's going on there. And environment's influence on the situation, we have the Two of Cups in reverse. So even though it's in reverse, I'll just put it in the upright while we talk about it. I don't know, it's kind of distracting me for some reason when we talk about it while it's reversed. But this could just represent, again, for those of you who are maybe getting a love offer, or maybe even you've been in a casual relationship, this could represent you deciding to walk away from it. And like I was saying, for those of you who are just trying to decide between getting into a relationship or just staying single, that was just, there's no clear person in mind, could be multiple options, but you're just trying to decide, okay, am I going to get in a relationship or stay single? Could just represent that this month you feel more likely to want to stay single. But this could just represent turning down a single offer too. So, could still represent narrowing down your options and just saying, okay, this particular person's offer, I'm not going to accept that. And maybe you decide to pursue someone who you do want, right? So saying, as opposed, basically saying not settling. So, okay, yes, this person's making an advance towards me. I could easily say yes and get into a relationship with them, but I know I don't really see any long-term potential there. So if that Eight of Cups energy, maybe that's you saying, you know what, rather than accept their offer, I'm going to go look for something more fulfilling that I want, basically. In The hopes or fears position, I did mention it a little bit ago. We'll talk about it some more now. We have the Nine of Swords. So this is a card that represents sleepless nights, nightmares. So I'm going to obviously assume that this is a fear for you guys. You might just fear making the wrong decision, which we certainly see some cards that point out to that. So, you could just be really putting a lot of pressure on yourself and just fearing that you'll be stuck in this energy for a long time. However weird it may sound, if that is what you're fearing, the good thing is you have that Ten of Swords. So it looks like you're going to push out of that. And, once you get that 10, it can't get any worse, basically. So, it doesn't have to be doom and gloom. It could just be that you're finally pushed to that decision, which could come about with the new moon that I mentioned, or maybe even a little bit later, at the end of that first week, when you actually have that Uranus and Mercury square. That could really kind of force things as far as communication and thoughts go. So there's that. And then in the outcome position, we have the Four of Wands. So to me, if anything, this points to that duality theme again, which is for some of you, you're totally going to be walking away from a connection saying, it's not worth it. I know that this isn't going to get me where I want to go. And, just deciding to walk. For others of you, I never recommend doing this, but I do have to at least put it out there. Maybe some of you do that like as an ultimatum type thing, where, it's like you put your foot down to kind of force the other person's hand if you do want more of a commitment from them. So you might say, well, I'm leaving, right? Just to see if they'll step up and present you a better offer, which would be more like that Four of Wands energy. So, like I said, I definitely don't, that's not my style, but for some of you, it looks like if you were to try to do that, and if that's the intention you have, is, you're really just walking away to kind of force their hand to say, well, wait, I might need to step my game up or lose this person. Looks like that could end up working out well for you. Like I said, that's on you guys if you want to play things that way or not. But and like I said, for others of you, this could just represent, again, maybe if you realize that you've been in a shallow connection, or maybe you've been getting all these offers, but you realize, you know what, none of these people are the person I want. I'm going to go after the person I do want. That could end up being what we're seeing there with that Four of Wands, where you would have some success with that. And then at the bottom of the deck, we also have the Six of Wands. So this is a card of victory. It's never a Leo card also, so this could just be saying when the sun gets into those middle 10 degrees of Leo, which would be early in the month of August, that could be when you experience that success, that Four of Wands. So it makes sense as far as the progression goes. And I'm not going to go through the bottom of the deck all night, but I will say it's interesting that beneath the Six of Wands, we actually have the Ace of Cups too. So this was the one ace you guys were missing, basically. You had the Ace of Swords, Ace of Wands, Ace of Pentacles. Now you have Ace of Cups too. So definitely looks like there's some energy for some new starts for you guys this month. All right, let me get to your oracle cards now. The first one you guys got was Exchanging Gifts. There's the artwork for it, and the number is 27, in case it has any significance for you guys. Read those messages. Okay, it says the law of giving and receiving, currency, trade-offs, weighing cost, and determining value. The Oracle's message: you're entering into a productive and enriching time when all manner of opportunities are being offered to you. You have everything you need to seize them. Yet in order to honor them, you must put in the time, exchange your experience and skills, and commit heart and soul to what you're choosing to pursue. You can do it. You have what it takes to be successful if you align with the law of giving and receiving. You must engage in a dance of give and take, push and pull, doing and being. If you let fear guide your choices, you could deplete yourself or create an imbalance. This is not a time of just do, do, do. Use your currency wisely and be mindful of the value others bring to your life. So what's interesting to me there was the part where it says if you let fear guide your choices, you could deplete yourself or create an imbalance. So to me, that definitely points to that Two of Swords energy and that Nine of Swords energy. Maybe it's maybe that's more of a warning saying that if you stay in that mental energy too long, you could end up just burning yourself out mentally by overthinking things. The relationship message says, love is an exchange of life force energy between two beings. It grows exponentially when it's reciprocated. You must give and receive in order for love to flourish and abundance to flow between you. Spirit wants you to start accepting all the blessings waiting for you, as well as offer the same gift in return. Open your heart and allow it to be filled. Let love in and let it flow out of you too. Love is truly yours today. So, as far as it grows exponentially when it's reciprocated, that could be, like I was saying, for at least some of you, if you feel like you have been in that Empress energy and maybe even that Nine of Pentacles energy, almost to your detriment, where you haven't really been reciprocating, right? You've just been letting everything come to you. Maybe you're making that realization that you need to shift gears to take things to the next level. All right, the prosperity message says all your hard work and efforts, your commitment to learning, creating, and spending your time wisely pay off in ways you may not have been anticipating. The gifts of yourself, your time, your ideas, and the energy of your intentions are being reciprocated by the universe, which is sending you signs and signals, aligning synchronistic meetings and opportunities to bring you success and more. Everything is an exchange. Keep doing what you're doing. Goodwill comes back tenfold. So, to be fair, I didn't pick up on much of a finance vibe in this particular reading. It really just seemed to call out to me as more like a relationship dynamic. But for those of you who were looking for more of a message there, hopefully that resonated with you guys. All right, and then the next oracle card you guys got from the Spirit Animal Oracle is Turtle Spirit. It says, slow and steady wins the race. There's the artwork for it, and the number for that is 62, in case it has any significance for you. All right, the message there says, Turtle Spirit arrives to remind you that when you do what you need to do, putting one foot in front of the other and trusting that you will see your intentions manifest in perfect timing, your prosperity and love will grow exponentially. Now is not the time to rush around trying to force matters. Move slowly, perhaps even so slowly that it almost feels as if you are not moving at all. This may be a time to crawl before walking, taking your time to align to Turtle Spirit's place as you contemplate this road you're on, doing what you need to do in this small moment that will soon pass. Turtle Spirit reminds you that sometimes the best action is to slow right down, so if it feels as if you are not doing enough, know that simply being aware of what is happening right now may be an important step towards determining whether you need to pivot or simply keep putting one foot in front of the other. True love and true success comes with patience, says Turtle Spirit. Focus on the now, and the next step will be clear. So the focus on the now and the next step will be clear part definitely seems to stick out to me because, like we said, we do have that Nine of Swords energy on the table and the 10. So hopefully you guys got something from that as well. And finally, we'll get to your mudra card. So for those of you who haven't been watching my videos, I've been pulling mudra cards for all the signs this year. And what a mudra is basically it's hand gestures that you would hold while meditating. Usually you want to hold them for a minimum of 5 minutes. You could go up to 30 minutes, 45 minutes, depending, but that's usually if you're more accustomed to meditating. If you don't normally meditate, 5 minutes will be fine. And their purpose is to help clear blockages. Usually it's more like a spiritual, emotional type thing, but sometimes it could actually be related to actual physical ailments. And the one you guys got for this month is Nirvana mudra. This is the actual gesture itself. The keyword for it there, it might be hard to see, but it says awakening. And then I'll flip the card over so you guys can get some more info on it. All right. And, we're not going to be able to fit everything into this frame, but what I'll do is just hold this up for a bit if you guys wanted to take a screenshot or pause it to read what it has to say. All right. And then I'll move it up. so you guys can see the rest. But yeah, it says for benefits, weakens ego grasping, reduces selfish desire for personal gain from spiritual practice, awakens the heart of compassion, serves as a ritual gesture to conclude any practice, as well as a simple way to declare the merit. So, if that sounds like something you guys think you could benefit from, I'll also put the name of that in the description of the video if you wanted to look into it some more. We'll wrap up there, guys. I'll see you all next month. All right, bye.